Demon princes are the mightiest servants of the dark gods, blessed with monstrous power and life unending. In this video, we're going to show how to paint one of these monstrous beasts. We're going to be painting the contrast method and up to battle ready. But the first thing we need to do is undercoat the model. And as you can see here, I've undercoated with grey cere, which is perfect for all the colours we're going to be applying in this video. Now, the first colour we're going to be doing is Apothecary White. This is going to be for the skin, and we're going to coat it all over. So I'm just going to give the pot a quick shake. Pop it open like so, and then we're ready to start. Now for this I will be using a medium shade brush, so all I'm going to do is apply some to the palette. This is more to control how much I have on the brush, as opposed to just thinning it down or anything like that. So once I'm happy with how much is on the brush, I'm ready to start coating. Now at this particular stage, early on, you can just be a little bit more messy and tidy up later on, like with grey cere. So all you need to do is just apply it all over, like down here, forget it on the belt, I'm not so bothered because I can tidy that up at a later stage. And there we are with the Apothecary White now applied to most of the model. We're ready to move on to the next stage, which is to apply Magos Purple. And this is for like some of the areas around his face and his chest. So again, I'm going to continue using my medium shade brush. Just going to apply a little bit to the palette again, just so I don't overload the brush. Get a nice point to it, then we're ready to start applying it. So you're looking to keep this around like the pecs area, bits around here like his rib cage, and then his face. There we are with the Magos Purple now applied to the chest and the face. We're ready to move on to the next step. Now for this we'll be using Black Templar. We're picking out all those black details. So you've got the wing membrane, you've got the leather and his horns. So I'm going to continue using my medium shade brush. Just apply a little bit to the palette again just to get a nice point, not to overload it too much. And then we're going to start with the wing membrane. I'm just going to turn it around and we'll start actually from here. So again, just be careful, try not to overload your brush too much. And if from experience, I'd probably suggest just neatly painting around the actual skeletal work of the wing and then filling in after, like so. If you do make any mistakes, just tidy back up with grey cere. There we are with all the black details now picked out. We're going to move on to applying the rest of the contrast. Now we're going to start with the silvers, and for this we'll be using Basilicanum Grey. Then we're going to move to Agros Dunes for any gold details, Volupus Pink for the burgundy cloth, or the loin cloth, and then finally we'll be using Blood Angel Red for his eyes and the little star design on his chest. But first of all, let's start picking out those silver details. So what I'm going to do is apply a little bit to the palette like so. I'm using a smaller brush this time, just for a bit more control, and then what we're going to do is start applying that on the greaves. So just take your time again. If you make any mistakes, just tidy back up with grey cere and reapply any other contrasts that you've splodged on. With the silver details now done, we're going to move on to applying Agros Dunes to any gold areas. With those gold details now picked out, we're going to start painting the loincloth with Volupus Pink. Take your time. If you do make any mistakes, just tidy back up with grey cere and reapply those contrasts. With the loincloth now done, we're going to finish off by just picking out the red details. Now for this, we're using Blood Angel Red. We're just going to be picking out the eyes and also the little star design here. So just make sure you get your brush to a nice point. If you do make any mistakes, you can, like I've just done here, wipe it with your finger or just tidy back up again. There we are with all the contrast paints now applied. We're going to move on to basing the model, and for this we're going to be using Agrelin Badlands. So I'm going to be using my trusty texture tool. I'm going to start with the large scoop side first. All I'm going to do is just scoop some on like so, get enough like that, and then I'm just going to dollop that actually onto the base. Once that's dolloped on, I'm just going to spread it around a little bit, and then I'm just going to move to the smaller side just for a bit more accuracy, especially when you get to the loincloth and the toes. Now you need to leave this for about an hour to dry. Once it's dry, just paint the rim of the base and the colour scheme that matches the rest of your army. And for this one, we're going to be using Steel Legion Drab. There we are with the texture now dry and the rim of the base painted. Our Chaos Demon Prince is battle ready. Now there are a couple of things to remember when painting this model. Firstly, when using contrast paints, it's better to start with the larger areas first and pick out the smaller details later on. And also when using contrast paints, try not to overload your brush as it can quickly run out of control. If you do find this happening, just use your brush to soak up any excess. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Hope you enjoy painting your own battle ready Chaos Demon Princes, and we'll see you again soon. Bye bye.